You know what ruins most relationships? It's not cheating. It's not we grew apart. It's not even the arguments. It's what happens inside the arguments. Because two people can disagree and still feel safe with each other. But once an argument becomes a cycle of raising the emotional temperature, saying things you can't take back, forcing apologies that aren't real, threatening the relationship, pulling away to punish, chasing to calm it down, that's when respect dies. And once respect starts leaking out of a relationship, it doesn't come back through flowers or long talks. It comes back through one thing: how you handle pressure. That's the difference between men who lose women in arguments and calm men who end the argument, keep the relationship, and quietly raise respect. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how calm men do it, not with cheesy communication tips, not by becoming a doormat, not by pretending they don't care, but by staying grounded, setting a clean boundary, and guiding the situation back to a place where both people can actually hear each other. Because the truth is, most arguments aren't really about dishes, texting, money, or tone. They're about emotional safety and power. And if you don't understand that, you'll keep trying to solve the topic, while the relationship collapses underneath you. So let's get into it. 1. The real reason arguments destroy relationships. Here's what most guys do. She's upset. He tries to fix it fast. He explains himself. He defends himself. He negotiates. He tries to prove he meant well. And the more he does that, the more she escalates. So he escalates back. And suddenly, it's not a conversation anymore. It's a trial. And now both people are fighting for three things. 1. Control. 2. Validation. 3. Safety. That's why the same argument keeps repeating. Because it was never about the subject. It was about the emotional dynamic. And here's the part men miss. When she's upset, she's not just asking, what happened? She's asking unconsciously, can I move emotionally without losing you? Can this man stay solid when I'm not pleasant? Will he collapse into panic or anger? Does he become small or does he stay steady? Does he need me to be calm for him to be calm? That's what's being tested. Not because she's evil, because relationships expose nervous systems, and women are wired to watch how a man responds under emotional stress. So the argument is not a debate. It's a stress test. And most men fail it the same way. They either become emotional, needy, reactive, or they become cold, cruel, dismissive. Both are weak. Calm men do something else. They don't argue to win, they don't argue to soothe, they argue to restore order, and order creates safety. Safety creates respect. Respect creates attraction. 2. The calm man's goal in any argument. If you remember one thing from this video, remember this. A calm man's job in conflict is not to be right. It's to 1. Lower the temperature, 2. Protect respect, or create a path forward. That's it. Because once the temperature is low, logic can happen. Once respect is protected, repair is possible. Once there's a path forward, the argument ends. Most guys do the opposite. They raise the temperature by reacting. They break respect by insulting or begging. They destroy the path forward by demanding outcomes. Calm men don't do that. Calm men do something simple. They don't match chaos, they contain it. 3. Why you lose her when you win the argument. Let's talk about a brutal truth. A lot of men think, if I just explain better, she'll understand. No, when a woman is emotional, she's not processing your explanation like a courtroom. She's processing your emotional state like a radar. So, when you over-explain, what she hears isn't information. What she feels is uncertainty, fear, pleading instability. You could be completely right and still lose respect because she's not measuring your logic. She's measuring your solidity. Also, many men win by crushing her point, humiliating her, proving her wrong. Congratulations, you didn't win. You created an enemy inside your relationship. A calm man never needs to dominate his woman to feel powerful. He would rather end the conflict clean than score points because he knows something most men don't. A relationship doesn't die from one argument. It dies from unrepaired disrespect. 4. The 3 types of arguments. Know which one you're in. To end arguments without losing the relationship, you need to know what kind of argument you're in because each one requires a different response. Type 1, the practical argument. This is about a real issue. Schedules, money time, communication plans, responsibilities. These are solvable. Type 2, the emotional argument, and this is about feelings. I don't feel prioritized. I don't feel safe. I don't feel respected. I feel alone. These aren't solved by facts. They're solved by regulation and reassurance without weakness. Type 3, the power argument. This is where it gets dangerous. This is when the argument becomes disrespect, threats, tests, manipulation, punishment, escalation to win. This is not about the issue anymore. This is about who controls the emotional environment. Most men treat every argument like type 1. They throw logic at an emotional storm. That's why it gets worse. A calm man identifies the argument type fast and responds accordingly. 5. The calm sequence. How calm men end arguments. Here's the core system. Write this down mentally. Calm men end arguments in 3 phases. 1. Contain. 2. Clarify. 3. Close. Phase 1. Contain. Stop the spiral. Your first job is to stop the emotional bleeding, not by shutting her down, not by walking out dramatically, but by stabilizing the moment. This is where calm men do 3 things. A. Slow everything down. Lower your voice. Slow your pace. Use fewer words. The man who talks fast is chasing control. Calm men don't chase control. They create it. B. Name the emotional weather. A calm man doesn't argue against emotion. He acknowledges it without surrendering. Examples: I can tell you're frustrated. You're upset. I get it. I hear you. You don't feel respected right now. This does not mean you agree with her accusations. It means you recognize the state. C. Set the boundary for respect. This is where men either become doormats or tyrants. Calm men do neither. They keep it simple. We can talk about this, but not with insults. I'm here to solve it, not fight. I'm not continuing if we're going to attack each other. That's containment, and it works because it changes the environment. Phase 2. Clarify, get to the real issue. Once the temperature drops, you clarify. This is where calm men ask one powerful question. What is the real concern here? Because 9 times out of 10, the surface issue isn't the real one. She might be yelling about you being 5 minutes late. But the real concern is, do you take me seriously? She might be angry about you not texting. But the real concern is, am I safe with you long term? So you ask, what are you actually worried about? What would make you feel better here? What's the bigger thing underneath this? And then you listen without arguing. Not because you're weak, because you're gathering data. Calm men don't fear emotions, they observe them. Phase 3. Close, end the argument with direction. Now you close. This is where most men mess up, because they either drag it on for hours, demand immediate resolution, or walk away without repair. A calm man ends it clean by offering direction. Here's what I'm willing to do. Here's what I'm not willing to do. Here's what we're doing next. Example. All right, I hear you. You want more consistency? I can do that. But I'm not doing blow-ups and threats. Next time you're upset, come to me straight and we'll fix it. That is leadership. Not dominance, leadership. 6. Exact lines to use in real arguments. Now, let's get practical. Here are calm man scripts you can actually say. When she's escalating, I'm not matching this energy. Talk to me normally and I'm here. I hear you. Lower the volume and we'll solve it. I'm not fighting. I'm listening. Tell me the point. When she starts insulting you, stop. We're not doing disrespect. You can be upset. You're not going to talk to me like that. If we can't keep respect, we're done talking for now. When she demands an immediate answer, I'm going to think before I respond. I'm not making decisions under pressure. Give me a minute. I'll answer when I'm clear. When she threatens the relationship, this is big. Pay attention. A calm man does not beg. He says, don't threaten me with leaving. If you want to leave, leave. I'm not negotiating under threats. We fix problems like adults, not with ultimatums. This alone changes the power dynamic, because most women expect a man to panic at the idea of losing her. Calm men don't panic. And that is where respect spikes. When she goes cold and silent, silence can be healthy, or it can be punishment. A calm man doesn't chase it. He says, when you're ready to talk respectfully, I'm here. I'm not guessing. I'll give you space. We can talk later. I'm not doing silent warfare. Then he goes back to his life, not to punish, to stay stable. 7. The biggest mistake men make. Trying to fix her emotions, listen carefully. Your job is not to manage her feelings. Your job is to manage your behavior. Most men lose relationships because they try to regulate her emotions for her. They rush in with, please don't be upset. I didn't mean it like that. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Even when they did nothing wrong, that creates a toxic dynamic. She becomes the emotional authority. You become the emotional employee. And once she feels like she's managing your emotional state, attraction drops. Calm men don't beg for peace. They create conditions for it. They don't chase resolution. They provide structure. 8. How calm men apologize without losing power. Some of you hear this and think, so I should never apologize? No, You should apologize like a man. A calm apology has 3 parts. 1, ownership. 2, adjustment. 3, boundary. Example: you're right, I was dismissive earlier. That's on me. I'll handle it better. But we're not doing yelling and disrespect. That's a real apology, not self-humiliation. Calm men don't apologize to escape discomfort. They apologize because it's true, and they do it without begging for forgiveness. They don't grovel, they correct. 9. The pause move that saves relationships. Sometimes you can't end an argument in the moment because emotions are too high. That's when calm men use the pause, not storming out, not silent punishment. A deliberate pause. Here's the exact line. Right now, we're not solving anything. We're just escalating. I'm going to take 30 minutes and we'll talk when we're calm. Then you actually come back. Because that's the difference between a pause and abandonment. A pause says, I'm choosing regulation. Abandonment says, I'm punishing you. When you return, you restart with, all right, I'm back. Let's do this clean. This move alone prevents 80% of relationship damage. 10. How to handle you always, you never. This is common. She says, you always do this. You never listen. You never care. Most men defend, that's not true. And now you're arguing about the accuracy of her exaggeration. That's a trap. A calm man does this instead. He translates the exaggeration into the real meaning. Example: I'm hearing that you feel like this pattern keeps happening and you're tired of it. Then he asks, what's the exact thing you want different? You bypass the bait and move to resolution. That's calm power. 11. How to handle disrespect without becoming a jerk. Here's where men either fold or explode. Disrespect shows up like mocking contempt, eye-rolling sarcasm, cheap shots, whatever. You're just like your father. You're not a real man. If you explode, you lose. If you tolerate it, you lose. Calm men do neither. They address it immediately and cleanly. They say, stop. That right there is disrespect. We're not doing that. And if it continues, I'm ending the conversation. We can talk when you can speak normally. Then they leave. No lecture, no rage, no long speech, just action. Calm men train the relationship through consistency, not through emotional speeches. 12. The secret. Calm men don't argue about emotions, they guide them. Here's something you need to understand. A lot of women aren't trying to win an argument, they're trying to discharge emotion. If you respond with logic only, you miss the point. Calm men do this. They validate emotion without validating disrespect. They give emotional acknowledgement. I get why that annoyed you, but they do not surrender their frame. I'm still not accepting insults. That combination is rare, and it's why calm men keep relationships intact, because she feels heard, and you remain respected. 13. The repair move. What you do after the argument matters more than the argument. Most relationships aren't destroyed by conflict, they're destroyed by lack of repair. A calm man repairs quickly and cleanly, not with gifts, not with fake positivity, with clarity. Here's the repair script. Earlier got messy. I don't want us talking like that. Next time, let's catch it earlier. I'm good with you as long as we keep respect. That does 3 things. Acknowledges the mess, sets the standard, restores connection, and sometimes you add one more line. I'm not holding grudges, I'm holding standards. That's calm masculinity. 14. What calm men never do in arguments. Let's make this simple. Here's the never list. Never beg, never plead for understanding, never over-explain, never argue for hours, never threaten leaving to gain control, never insult to feel powerful, never chase silent treatment, never apologize for things you didn't do, never trade self-respect. For temporary peace, because temporary peace bought with self-respect creates long-term resentment, and resentment kills relationships. 15. The ultimate frame. I'm here for us, but I'm not here to be disrespected. This is the core attitude you need. I care about you. I care about us, but I'm not available for disrespect, chaos, or emotional games. When you embody that, arguments become shorter because she learns you won't collapse, you won't explode, you won't chase, you won't tolerate nonsense, but you will repair when it's real. That combination is rare, and rare is respected. 16. A full real-life scenario. Let's run a realistic argument. She says, you don't even care. You didn't text me all day. I'm done with this. Most men. Babe, I was busy. I swear. I'm sorry. I didn't mean. Calm man. Hold on. I hear you're upset, but don't talk to me like I don't care. She says, well, it feels like you don't. Calm man. Okay, so what's the real issue? You want more consistency during the day? She says, yes, I don't want to feel ignored. Calm man. Fair, I can do a quick check in, but I'm not doing accusations and threats. If something bothers you, say it directly. She says, so you're making this my fault now. Calm man. No, I'm making it our standard. I'll adjust. You keep respect. That's the deal. Then he stops talking. That's the part most men can't do. They keep explaining. Calm men state the frame once, then let it land. 17. Why this works. This works because calm lowers threat. Boundaries create structure. Structure creates safety. Safety creates respect. Respect keeps attraction alive during conflict. It also works because when you don't react emotionally, you don't give the argument fuel. Most arguments continue because they get rewarded with attention. Yelling gets attention. Crying gets attention. Threats get attention. Calm men don't reward chaos, they reward clarity. The final truth. Ending arguments without losing the relationship is not about having the perfect words, it's about having the right internal posture. A calm man doesn't need to win, he doesn't need to prove, he doesn't need to beg, he doesn't need to punish, he needs to stay steady, because steadiness is what relationships are built on. If your woman can't find steadiness in you, she will eventually stop feeling safe. And when she stops feeling safe, she stops respecting you. And when respect is gone, love becomes conditional. So if you want to keep the relationship and keep your power, stop fighting like a boy who's afraid to lose. Start leading like a man who can handle pressure. If this hit you, here's what I want you to do. Next time an argument starts, don't rush to fix it. Run the calm sequence. Contain, clarify, close. And remember the line that changes everything. I'm here to solve it, but I'm not doing disrespect.